He is Michael Vuckovich. He is the new superintendent of the Indiana Area School District, and this is our introduction to him. So let's all say good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing this morning?
Wonderful. It's good to have you here. For folks who don't know, are you officially the superintendent now? Have you begun work at Indiana?
Well, I'm excited to say I've been starting work in Indiana since July. For July and August, I'll be the assistant superintendent. Come September, upon Dale's retirement, I'll be the superintendent as September 1st.
Yeah, and as background, folks probably need to know from where you come.
Yeah, absolutely. So professionally, I spent 17 years in the Greater Johnstown School District, the last 2 years as interim superintendent of schools and director of education. I'm born and raised in Cambria County, lived in Johnstown, Pennsylvania for most of my life, and split some time between Johnstown, Pennsylvania, and Wadsworth, Ohio, with my aunt and uncle in Ohio.
Mm-hmm. All right, so that's the thumbnail. Let's get into a little bit more, and maybe I don't know that comparisons are fair, but think about Johnstown from where you come, and then the situation you find here at Indiana. I know that from school district to school district, there are a lot of things that are common in terms of what school districts are facing in Pennsylvania now, but every school district's unique as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me start off by saying how blessed and excited I am for spending my time in Johnstown. It was a wonderful place to be a part of. It taught me a lot, made a lot of great friendships, and I'm totally grateful for that opportunity. But coming to Indiana, it's another opportunity, a new chapter and a new book for me, and it's an amazing, beautiful community. When I come down Philadelphia Street, it's just totally amazing by how they have a small town value, small town feel, but just a lot of opportunity here. I did my undergraduate work at IUP, so I'm familiar with the area, but just now being part of here, being here every day and entrenched every day, I'm just amazed by the beauty and splendor this community has to offer. I think it has a lot of potential, and I'm proud to be part of it.
Yeah, and it's changed, hasn't it, since you went to IUP, especially this corridor here?
It has. IUP has grown. The entire area has grown, and I'm excited to be a part of it and make my roots and make some good relationships to help this area, this county thrive.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so what made you want to come to Indiana? What were the things that stood out that you said, this is a job that I think I'd like to have?
I think on surface value, why not? It's a beautiful community with beautiful resources, a wonderful school district, so it was a great opportunity for me. Looking for me to grow professionally. I come from a school district similar and same size as Indiana. We had about 3,000 students in Johnstown. Indiana has about 2,800, so it felt right. It was the same size. I was used to that budget, those operations, and the same type of size in generality, but it was a great opportunity. When I come here and I drove down through the community, it just felt like home. It felt like something I want to be a part of.
Is the setup for the way a district operates the same basically in every school district? Are there things that are unique to Indiana that you're finding about the way things operate here?
Yeah, I think that's a loaded question. I think there's a lot of specifics to this community only, but there's a lot of similarities between all school districts, right? The budget's the budget. Some of the troubles we're facing as throughout the Commonwealth with trying to balance our budgets is not new to Indiana or alone to Indiana. It faces a lot of school districts, but there's a lot of similarities, right? And it depends. Each school has their own culture and their own norms in which they operate under, but there's a lot of similarities between all schools.
I'm sure that as an introduction, you have to meet with each of the different constituencies, and the faculty is a big part of that. Elementary school faculties, the junior high and the senior high faculties, that relationship between a superintendent and the faculty is, I think, something that maybe not all people are aware of. That has to be a pretty intimate relationship, doesn't it?
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt. Trust is the one thing I believe that takes years to build but seconds to destroy. So I'm really focusing on strong-rooted relationships. I think if I'm going to be successful in this position, it starts with people. People matter. You win with people. So I want to build great relationships with all the various stakeholders, understand what their values are, what their concerns are, and how we can work together to, most importantly, help our community thrive. I think my decision-making is going to be what's in the best interest for kids and how can we help them succeed. Mm-hmm. And I have to try to get all those different identities together and aligned in the same direction, sailing in the same direction. I've been absolutely pleasantly surprised and pleased with the amount of outreach and support I've had from the various community leaders, stakeholders, as I'm starting to get my feet wet here and build these relationships. The association has reached out to me, and they've been nothing but wonderful, helping me understand their concerns, their values, and how we can work together. So it's a process. Like anything else, it takes time, but I'm looking forward to building those relationships and having this be a great, successful area and continue the great work that was done through my predecessor and well before me.
Well, based on what we know from working with Dale for all these years, and I don't know that many school superintendents get a chance to sort of operate under the wing for a couple of months before taking the steering wheel. But he certainly is somebody from which you can learn a lot, isn't he?
Oh, it's an absolute privilege to be able to work with him and learn from him. I think, my goal is always to get better every single day. If I could be better tomorrow than I was today, and be a constant learner, I think I'm winning. And working with Dale every day, I'm winning and learning. So I'm absolutely grateful for his kindness, his responsibility, and his respect for me to help me and take me underneath his wing these 2 months and really guide me. So he's been nothing but supportive, and I'm totally appreciative of his time.
We're talking with Mike Vuckovich, the new superintendent of the Indiana Area School District, and so good to be introduced to you and introduce you to the community as well. And so we think about Indiana Area School District with, the challenges that we've heard down through the years, and in recent years, the elementary school situation, that has yet to be resolved to the satisfaction of everybody, and I don't know that you ever can find something that's going to satisfy everybody. But what are some of the challenges that you see, maybe not just in the first year, but over the course of the first 5 years, or however long you want to define that time period? What are some of the challenges that you see needing to be tackled right away, and maybe something down the road?
Well, I think number one, the biggest thing I want to do is increase the amount of communication that the community is receiving from the district. We are undertaking a new pathway as far as building a new website that we plan to roll out before the start of school. We're going to have a social media presence. So we want to increase transparency and communication. I think that's one of my big goals coming right out the gate. Number two, we want to make sure that our schools are safe and secure. When you look what's going on across the nation, I think we have a responsibility to do that. We're going to address that slowly, surely, and methodically to make sure it's well planned, well thought out, and in the best interest of our kids. So right out the gate, those are our two real big issues. And the third one is we want to be financially solvent. We want to have a balanced budget, and we're going to work towards doing that without increasing any taxes to the best of our ability. It's a long, arduous task. We got a lot of work to do, and I'm ready for the work, and I'm excited for the journey.
We mentioned working with the faculty. Of course, you've got wonderful administrators in the Indiana School District, too. The principals, the assistant principals, the guidance counselors, all of those people in that sector with whom you'll be working. And the school board is another entity that you must remain strong and on the same page with. Talk, if you would, about working with those two different groups.
Well, I got to tell you, I think team's the most important thing. You win with people, and it takes time to build team. You don't win in silos. You don't operate in silos. So it's about communication and vision. And right now we're working on a vision that makes sure that they appreciate the way I communicate, the way I lead, and that makes sure it's everyone's ship. And what I mean by that, everyone has a responsibility to do that. I've been absolutely blessed by the school board. They're a wonderful group of people who really, truly care about the community and the kids. It's been a pleasure working with them. And the same thing with the administrators. We're really working on a team. Again, my motto is it's everyone's ship. So I want everyone to have a role in the decision-making. And we roll by consensus. We roll by clarity and transparency. And we're building those relationships because, again, trust is the one thing that takes years to build, but seconds to destroy. And we want to go off on a strong foundation, and we're doing that. And I'm quite excited, and I look forward to the future.
I want to go back to talk about school security because you mentioned that. In the past few years, every school district has had its attention really heightened. The radar goes on and the antenna go up, however you want to put it. People need to know that their kids are safe. How have you seen how Indiana does it, and is what is happening now, is that adequate now? Does it need to be bolstered? Are we on the right track?
Yeah, I think we're definitely on the right track. I think Indiana's doing a great job, but I think we can always get better. I think we can always be changing and improving and adapting and monitoring the situation, and we're really going to focus on three phases. One, physical plant safety. Two, operational planning and communications. And third, what can we do preventative measure-wise with social emotional learning? We really want to address the kids' social emotional needs to make sure that we can try to predict these type of issues from coming and make sure they get the adequate support they need before they become issues. I'm a strong proponent of preventative measures, so we're going to look in those three facets. Again, physical plant safety, operational planning, and social emotional curriculum to make sure we can address the needs of our kids, because I think it matters, right? I think, it's not what you are that prevents you from being great. It's what you think you're not. So we want to work with kids to make sure they learn how to control those issues and learn how to really accept who they are and learn from failure. I think in society, we made failure a state of what you are rather than a single act. And I think we can learn a heck of a lot more from failure than we can from winning all the time. So we want to embrace that. We want to provide a nurturing environment for all our kids and also make sure we have the physical plant safety needs met and operational plans. So if something was to happen, we know how to respond effectively.
That's an important thing that I think not enough attention gets paid to. And obviously you don't want those plans to be released so that everybody knows what they are and they can sort of plan their, I want to say attack, they can plan their approach. But that really is important, isn't it?
Oh, it absolutely is. Because remember, I'm just one person. You're going to have 300 people running the same play. So in a case of emergency, we need to make sure that we're trained, we're prepared, we know how to execute properly because there's a lot at stake, and most importantly, our kids. So we want to make sure that it's planned out, it's communicated very well, and it's practiced to make sure in case something happens, we know how to respond accordingly.
Catching a little bit of football lingo with you here this morning. Excited about the football season coming up, new head coach?
Absolutely am. I think extracurricular sports are absolutely important. Regardless of the sport, I think it's pivotal for kids to be involved in something positive. And I can't wait to attend my first game here this fall. Yeah,
and wait till you hear the musicians at Indiana School District. It's just amazing. You're going to love them.
It's a remarkable community.
Yeah. Well, it's so good to have you in it, and we're glad that you're able to come in and talk with us. Let's see if we can't make this a more regular thing so that we can visit with you again.
Looking forward to it.
He's Mike Vuckovich, the new superintendent, Indiana Area School District assistant now. Very soon he will be the superintendent at Indiana Area, and we're looking forward to his tenure here. It is 8:58. We're 2 minutes away from 9 o'clock. The voice of Indiana County, WCCS, AM 1160, 101.1 FM.